This video is for awareness and educational purposes. All hereby copyrighted.
A volcano eruption update 2.5 days after the previous one. The new SE crater produced yet another phase of lava fountaining, paroxysm, yesterday evening 4 June 2021. It was preceded by a relatively long phase of weak to moderate, but intermittent strombolian activity and fluctuating tremor levels, contrary to most other episodes. The activity.
In 2017, they found out there's a lava tube underneath their 10-acre property, not a small one. Their realtor reportedly mentioned there was a small cave underneath their land somewhere, but what they found was a cave so large they can't even touch the ceiling in some places.
I was really shocked how big it was.
Terrifying viewers with quakes that can collapse skyscrapers. In this time-lapse video, you can see how building components would hold up in a high-magnitude earthquake.
San Andreas will produce the kind of long-period shaking, which would be very damaging. Very tall buildings, say in downtown LA, and Century City, and Long Beach, and so forth. The older steel buildings, the connections in them.
The highest death toll would be from fires.
Historically, the biggest hazard from earthquakes has been fire. In the 1906 earthquake, there were 3,000 or 4,000 people who were just caught in that wave of fire that swept through the city.
The aftermath of the big one will wreak havoc on infrastructure and the economy.
Below our streets and our buildings, it's just really complicated.
Estimated financial cost.
Actually went all the way up to towards Las Vegas through this valley from this area below or south of Palm Desert called the Salton Sea. And most of you remember those flurries of quakes 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was. But right now, this quake, the one we're talking about, it was a depth of 5.8 kilometers, which makes it fairly shallow. And in the video yesterday, I said that I think it was titled the Cascadia / San Andreas Earthquake Watch. And that's what we're dealing with here. And I said these quakes, and I've got this set on.
Two of the strongest that I've ever felt.
The most recent quake was part of a sequence that started late last month.
This area has seen a number of earthquakes over the last month.
Now it says that the whales are believed to have washed ashore between April 27th and May 4th in Tiburon, the Port of Oakland, and Angel Island State Park. Now, due to the locations, the mammals being inaccessible and unsafe, the center says they have not determined their cause of death.
What killed the animals in Henan's Dongtuan village? Overnight,
Quite why, but one thing is certain, it wasn't just a coincidence.
I went into the pigsty to see the pigs lying all about. About 70 to 80% of the pigs died and lay motionlessly. The living knocked their heads against the wall non-stop.
Nearby pig farmers all reported the same phenomenon. After an initial investigation, officials ruled out disease as the cause of the deaths.
After investigating, the conclusion is that the deaths were not caused by an epidemic or a communicable disease, because the outbreak of an epidemic disease would not lead to the spread of the disease between different stocks or lead to sudden deaths.
With fears of the bird flu spreading and the mystery of over 16,000 dead pigs in a Shanghai river, this news probably comes as a relief to the villagers, but it's also made their fears of another kind grow. One villager reported an unusual, pungent smell of gas in her pigsty. That's led local authorities now to believe it was a gas leak from a nearby chemical plant that caused the deaths. A mere 650 feet away from Leo's pigsty, a chemical plant produces pharmaceutical products. For 10 years, residents have complained about the plant. According to local...
Actually went all the way up to towards Las Vegas through this valley from this area pond below, or South Palm Desert, called the Salton Sea. And most of you remember those flurries of quakes. 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was. But right now, this quake, the one we're talking about, it was a depth of 5.8 kilometers, which makes it fairly shallow. And in the video yesterday, I said that, I think it was titled the Cascadia/San Andreas Earthquake Watch. And that's what we're dealing with here. And I said these quakes, and I've got this set on